Let's pay homage to the lineage gurus, homage to the Venerable Monk Liao Ming, homage to Master Sakya Zhengkong, homage to His Holiness the 16th Karmapa, and homage to Master Dupton Dorji. Homage to the two jewels of the altar. Homage to the main deity of Homa today, Namo Sakyamuni Buddha, the founder of Buddhism. Namo Buddhaya. So, Tanzan Katso, Tutan City, all Dharma masters, Dharma educators, Dharma teachers, Dharma lecturers, Dharma assistants, directors of temples and chapters, and all disciples present here and over the internet. Good afternoon, everyone. How do you do?
아이스테르 사랑해 오라미코 베케로모초 스고인 이지바 기모지 주미 야비 브리브리 konnichiwa.
First, I would like to announce for next Sunday, May 15th, Sunday at 3 p.m. This is the deity that we rarely perform for Homa. It's the Mahasriya, Mahasri Devi or Lakshmi. In reality, this deity in Tibetan Buddhism, it's very famous. Palden Lamo. So, Lakshmi or Palden Lamo is considered a protector, a great protector in Tibetan Buddhism. She's riding on a horse, and the easiest sign to recognize is the eye on the behind of the horse, and she's also blue. So, Palden Lamo or Mahasuri or Lakshmi is a protector in a protective form, which is completely different from the celestial maiden form in the Japanese Tantrayana. In my southern mountain retreat, I have a Mahasri in the form of a celestial maiden from the Japanese Satayana, from the Venerable Lian Mu, from the Yuantong Temple of Taiwan. So the Japanese Tantayana form, which is celestial maiden. So the Japanese Sri Devi sometimes holds a parasol and some is holding an auspicious fruit. Or actually a fan, I think. rather than parasol.
胸的，他的胸前挂的是人头骨。
The fan. But the Tibetan Tantayana's version is very ferocious, with a necklace of skulls hanging on her neck. So she's a protector in Tibet. But in Japan, that she can bestow lots of auspiciousness. Lots of Dharma treasures to be bestowed upon you. So the two different practices. That's the mantra. And Manjusri Bodhisattva is also means the marvelously auspicious or the greatly auspicious. So Manjusriya, for Manjusri is Om Manjusriya, and for Mahasri is Om Mahasriya. Om Mahasriya Soha. Om Mahasriya Soha is her mantra. And her mudra is like the mudra to invoke the Bodhisattva, which is the lotus Anjali mudra. This is so to invite the Buddha, the Bodhisattva, and the protector. The Om Ahom. Om Ahom. The three syllables. So the same mudra as the invocation for Bodhisattvas. And her image, she is holding a weapon that looks like a cannon or a fire arrow, and the other hand is holding a skull cup or kapala filled with human blood, and fire enveloping her, and her hair is red. The body is blue, and the skulls hanging on her body. She has subdued 52 cult leaders or deviant practitioners and hang the skulls on her neck. So in Tibetan Tantayana, there are a total of 12 Mahasris. So Grandmaster had painted 12 Mahasris that belong to the Japanese Tantayana, which is the elegant and graceful celestial maidens. So Mahasri can bestow auspiciousness. If you want auspiciousness, you should become primary supplicants. Of course, nobody wants disasters and calamities. Everybody wants auspiciousness. I think in the Lotus Sutra, there is a chapter on the Mahasri as spoken by the Buddha. And today, we perform the Homa of Sakyamuni Buddha, the founder of Buddhism. Of course, we don't have to introduce him. He's the founder of Buddhism, Sakyamuni Buddha. Most people would know his story, his hagiography. Grandmaster had visited India and performed pilgrimage over the 8 holy places, Lumbini, Deer Park. That's in Nepal. When he was born, he spoke. I'm the only one in heavens and on earth. And most people thought that the only one means that he's the first and foremost. But actually this I does not refer to Sakyamuni Buddha, but I represents the true self, the great self, which is the same as Buddha nature. This I refers to Buddha nature. So in heavens and on earth, only Buddha nature is the only one. So this I refers to the Buddha nature, the same as Buddha nature. It doesn't mean that he's the boss, that everybody else is under him. That's not the case. But you're number one if you embody or if you have manifest the Buddha nature, and everyone is number one, no difference. Many people misunderstand that Sakyamuni Buddha thought that he's the dominant or the number one and nobody else, but that's not the case. So we visited the 8 sacred pilgrimage sites, and I had this feeling or impression. Why did Sakyamuni Buddha renunciate? That in the sutras it was recorded that he saw the sufferings of sentient beings as he was traveling through the 4 gates and encountered birth, aging, old age and death, sickness and death. And then he realized that human life is very short. And there's also 2 sufferings, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 sufferings. There are many kinds of sufferings. They're all sufferings. That moments of joy and happiness are very short-lived. And the time that we can utilize also very short. So he means that we don't strive to fulfill desires, and instead we can live at ease and lightly and can purify and manifest Buddha nature. And Buddha nature is omnipresent, it's everywhere. And we invoke, whenever we invoke Sakyamuni Buddha, that he would descend because he's omnipresent. He's not exactly at one place. Some people said that the Buddha was from the past, that was 2600 years ago. and then he's gone. So where is he now? Some people ask me. But actually, Buddha nature is omnipresent, is everywhere, at any time and any space. That's the meaning of omnipresent. And according to what's mentioned in the Vimalakirti Sutra, it's the same. Time does not exist. Space also, spatial dimension also does not exist. That's why in transference of consciousness, in his tiny room, he could embrace all the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas inside his room, and it did not feel that the room is small. So the little thing can embrace the big things. It's boundless. So boundlessness. So he has this supernatural or transcendental power that a time and spatial dimension can change. And he has no gender. So, but does that mean by or non-gender? It used to be male, female, and then what letter is it?
X， 就是你是中性的。
And X.
大部分来讲，不是男的，就是女的嘛，不是 man。
In the past, there are only two genders, man or woman. But now we also have X, which means you're not man, you're neither man nor woman, or you can be both man and woman. So it's like a neutral. But what Vimalakirti manifested can transform. So that's in the sutra. That's incredible. The goddess who sprinkles flowers is a female, and Sariputra is a male. So Sariputra, practicing arhatship, never gazed at women. So whenever he sees the goddess who sprinkles the flower, he would look down or close his eyes. But the goddess also has transcendent power. And she's a bodhisattva, a great bodhisattva. And Arhat is the smallest one of the four sagely realms. So the goddess says, okay, you don't want to look at me? Then she transformed herself to become Sariputra. And Sariputra became the goddess who sprinkled flowers. So, changing into each other. So, he wasn't looking at you, but I became you. Became a woman. So he break through the gender boundary. So the goddess who sprinkled flowers, so she sprinkled all the flowers in the sky as an offering to the arhats, and all the arhats ran away and hid because they didn't want to be touched by the flowers, but the flowers stick to them. and they couldn't get rid of the flowers.
他们有这么大的神通力，
So they had such great, tremendous, transcendent or supernatural power.
变化无
Man becoming woman, woman becoming man, and just
空间，没有时间性，使过去的
numerous transformations.
打成一片。
So there's no limitation in the time and spatial dimensions. The past, present, and future all becomes one, and all the space also become
所以这个有
interconnected and become
百
one.
花丛中过，
So that's why there's this saying that there are many flowers passing by,
百花丛中
but not even a petal sticking around. This came from
不
Vimalakirti.
在身上，
So they don't stay with them.
挂碍都没有。
So there is no attachments whatsoever in their hearts.
花草草，
So even after going through so many flowers and grass, but none of them stay with them at all.
例如像释迦牟尼佛，
Like Sakyamuni Buddha, he would go to a
经
place
过一个旷野，
and bringing all of his disciples passing through
这里过
a deserted area,
过夜，
and then said, let's stay overnight here.
好，
What? Staying overnight here? And he said, no, this is good geomancy, but this is a very deserted place. No people, nothing, no houses. Where would they stay?
说没问题的，
And he said, the Buddha said, no problem.
顺便
Sakyamuni Buddha also had transcendental power.
请了这个刀立天，就是
So he invited
天
Trayatrimsa Deva
是天主下
or Indra
第一次
to descend.
天主知道释迦牟尼佛的意思，
And the Lord Indra
三
understood
枝草，把
what Sakyamuni Buddha wanted, so he planted three clumps of grass, and immediately they turned into big
释
palaces.
迦牟尼佛的弟子就进到这个宫
So Sakyamuni Buddha's disciple can enter into the palaces and stay overnight. And the next morning,
殿几步，
when they woke up and left the palaces, and they turned around, and all that's left are the three clumps of grasses.
很
So
简单的
that's
这个空间
transformation and transcendental power.
时间
Because spatial dimension
里面空间
intrinsically does not exist, and time dimension intrinsically does not exist either. That's why we call it that the three times are one and across 10 directions.
都在的，
So Buddha nature, Sakyamuni Buddha, is everywhere. So whenever we invoke him, he would come.
他降在我们火宫，
He descended upon our fire offering.
师尊有一次
One time,
在
Sakyamuni Buddha,
做千烧法船的超度的时候，
when I was performing the Bardo deliverance of the 1,000 Dharma vessels, I fell asleep.
做一半，使人
Halfway, I was too
既
tired.
然睡着，
I fell asleep.
可能会睡到天亮。
Perhaps I would have
法
slept
船不知道在哪
till
里，
morning, and then the Dharma vessels, the ships, were just wandering around
睡着，
because the presider of the ceremony fell asleep.
到处跑，
And so the Dharma ships were just floating around.
光降下来，
But there was a ray of
里面
light
闪了一下，
flashing right in front of my eyes.
哎，
And I woke up and took a look. Oh, it's Sakyamuni Buddha.
哎，
So I woke up. What was I doing?
千烧法
I was performing the Bardo deliverance of the thousands of Dharma vessels.
后面的
So immediately I concentrated and completed my Bardo deliverance. And by the time I finish, it's dawn. It's daybreak. So once Sakyamuni Buddha woke me up, and Sakyamuni Siddhikarma Bodhisattva is very kind. Every time during the Dharma teaching at the Seattle Lichang Temple, I don't know whether you are falling asleep, but you are very quiet, and the Master too is very quiet, so quiet that I fell into a deep sleep. And Siddhikarma Bodhisattva saw me that my body is starting to fall forward, like fishing, It's called fishing. I almost fall asleep. So Siddhikarma Bodhisattva was so kind, so he put on a seatbelt on me. From my back. He seated behind me, and then he put on a seatbelt on me. And I saw it passing in front of my eyes and so that I can sit upright and sleep well. I really sleep well. Every time Master De Hui drive me and I get on the car, and I would chant the sutra and do a Dharma practice, and then I would lose consciousness. When I open my eyes, it'll be at the Rainbow Villa. So every Sunday, when I come to the Rainbow Temple, everybody says that the scenery in I-90 is really beautiful, but for this past 3 years, I've never seen any sceneries on I-90. So I spend it in dreams. That's how it's been. There's no time in the villa. And the lake, the sun and moon along. This is a couplet. Mountain villa, no time, which means no time dimension. And in the lake is no spatial dimension. So always like this, all the mountains surrounding the Rainbow Temple. No time. They're all the same things, but they're all ever changing depending on the weather. But at the center of the lake, the sun and moon are long. The sun and the moon are on the lake, reflected on the lake. But the lake in Chinese sounds like a wine bottle. So there is no spatial dimension. So you're drunk in this villa. But please don't drink, okay? I'm not telling you to drink. It's just an analogy. So Sakyamuni Buddha has no time nor spatial dimension. He's everywhere. Don't ask where Sakyamuni Buddha is. He is omnipresent. Even after 2,600 years, he's still here. When Grandmaster performed the Bardu deliverance of the 1,000 Dharma vessels, he woke me up once. Just once. Very grateful to him. The daughter asked her mom, Mom, is my skirt beautiful? Guess how much is it? And Mom said, I know, it's expensive. I can tell. And the daughter asked, how can you tell? From where? And Mom said, from your dad's face. Two madams are talking, and Madam A told Madam B, you look tired. And she said, yeah, my husband is in the hospital and I'm watching over him day and night. And the other madam asked, why don't you just hire a nurse or caretaker to help? And she replied, well, because I have hired someone. You cannot laugh at that. A boy really likes a girl, but did not dare to tell her. So he followed her to a noodle shop. And finally, he conjured up his courage and asked, what do you call? Or what do you call in Chinese? And she said, the beef noodle soup. One day, Dracula got an Aladdin lamp and then asked the genie, I want to be fair-skinned and loved by women and can drink more blood. So, and the genie turned him into a what is that called? Like a tampon. So the wife said, how come housework is never ending? And the husband said, well, you did not agree to my getting another wife. So on to the main topic. From South Africa, Lianhua Yongyan, Homage, Grandmaster and Sumo. Question on the ritual of collecting water in a bowl. When we move our house, can we just take it down and move it to our new house? Is there any specific ritual for taking it down and putting it up? Or should I do a Dharma practice first before putting it up on top of the new house? Or should we discard the old bowl and place a new bowl at the new house? Thank you, Amitabha. So he said just to take down the old bowl and then put it up on the new house. According to what I know, the ritual of collecting water in a bowl it's like to repair the feng shui of a house. So when you use this bowl ritual, is you use the brain that has never touched the ground. So when the rain is clean water is collected in a bowl, it would alleviate the negative energy of the house. So it's to repair the feng shui inadequacies. So when you move the house, you should not worry about the bowl, because perhaps the new house has good feng shui. Then you don't need the bowl anymore. If the new house has a bad feng shui, then don't move to that house. But if you just want to be safe, then you can just place a new bowl. It doesn't cost that much, right? Why do you bother by taking the old bowl? So when you move to a new house and you just want to subdue the negative energy, and so you can place another bowl on top of the house, and to perform the ritual of collecting the rootless water in a bowl. Just buy a new bowl. It's very cheap. Why do you bother taking down the old bowl from the old house? So that's the answer, okay? Question from Malaysia, Lianhua Seng Yao. Grandmaster, first I'd like to offer my gratitude to Grandmaster for your compassion to allow all beings filled with Dharma joy. In Tantric Buddhism, there are three classes of dragon beings: celestial dragons, earthly dragons, and sea dragons. It is a common knowledge that the sea dragons oversee rainfalls and alleviate droughts. Can you please tell us the difference between the celestial dragons and the earthly dragons? Also, the Dragon King treasure base is primarily offered to the sea dragons. May we offer it to the earthly dragon by burying it in the ground? Oh my gosh. In Tantric Buddhism, there are three classes of dragon beings: celestial, earthly, and sea dragons. Let me ask all of you. Celestial dragons, earthly dragons, and sea dragons. Can anyone explain them? Master Lian Wang said he's never heard of celestial dragons, earthly dragons, and sea dragons. That's what he wrote. In Tantric Buddhism, there are three classes of dragon beings: celestial dragons, earthly dragons, and sea dragons. If you have cell phones, check.
这里写的就是说民间传说，没有说是密教。民间。
It's written that it's just a folk belief. It's not Tantric Buddhism.
传说分成这三种，没有说是密教讲的。
对他讲密教讲的，如果民间传说，我自己讲的。
Did I say it?
是师尊讲的吗？还是民间传说的？哦， 民间传说。
So it's a folk
反正现在
legend.
没有手机。
I have no cell phone.
你们有手机的就看一下。
So if you have cell
民间
phone,
传说，龙分
you
三
can
种：
check.
天龙、地龙、海龙。OK， 这是民间传说啦，不是密教讲的。
So it's not in Tantric Buddhism.
好，谢谢。那我记得
So it's a folklore.
在仙岩寺，在
I remember
中国
in
5000年文化当中，
of the 5,000 year of China history, 仙岩县,
有几个神下降，
there were several major gods who descended 5,000 years ago. There was the clan of Fuxi, the clan of Niwo, the clan of Panku,
伏羲
Fuxi,
的女娲，
Niwo,
另外呢还有神龙、
Senlong,
仙岩、
Xianyan,
族人
Zhuren.
啊，这些神有巢，这些都属于神。
They were considered gods. Do you remember? You have studied history.
炎黄子孙燕
And we are called the descendants of Yan Huang. Yan is the Yan emperor from the Senlong clan.
皇帝仙岩寺就是
And Huang
跟仙岩寺
Di, the yellow emperor.
就是炎黄子孙。
So we are the descendants of Yan and Huang.
那其中呢，神农氏
So the Senlong clan
这个龙，它常
oversee
尝百草，
the
植物的。
farming and agriculture, and Zhuren clan is in charge of fire,
熟食的啊，不是吃的
to eat cooked food.
有巢氏
And the Yu
教
Cao
人家做
clan
房子，
teaches people how to build
居住。
residences like huts and
伏羲氏
building structures.
画八
And
卦
the Fuxi clan is the one who draw the trigrams.
是
And the Niwo clan is to create
是
people.
造天地。
And the Panku clan is to create heaven and earth.
仙岩氏
And Xianyan clan
是最
is
早的皇
emperors,
帝。
the earliest
在那个
emperors.
时代，在仙岩氏的时代，
So in the era of the Xianyan clan,
有养龙，
there was a
养
Yang
龙
Long.
的龙氏
It's the dragon clan
养了，在一个池子里面养龙。
who raise dragons in the
那
pond.
养龙，他养龙啊，我们就说那个龙啊，最喜
So
欢的
raising the
他
dragons,
很喜欢，
and dragons really love,
龙有伏羲啊，
you know, the whiskers of the
给
dragons
他伏羲啊，给他这样子啊拉
to play or to pull on the whiskers of the dragons, and the dragons would be really pleased.
这是我读书，
I learned this from reading.
但是这也是属于上古神话演绎，
So this is kind of
上古
legends,
神话演绎，所以这些是
the legend of the three ancient,
我当然知道这些东西。那么你讲
like
天龙
mythical
地
legend,
龙海
legend.
龙，在密教本身是没有谈到什么天龙地龙海龙，没有这个，没有这
But
个。
not in Tantric
大部分
Buddhism.
讲就是海龙。我们晓得有那个龙王经嘛，
We know there's a Dragon King Sutra. Did it mention about celestial dragons, earthly dragons, and the sea dragons? No. So celestial dragons, of course, those who fly in the sky. And the earthly dragons, I think, are underground. As a Feng Shui masters, the Venerable Monk Liao Ming is a master of Feng Shui. So first, it's about dragon. Long Sui Xia Sui Seng. So we always check the dragons under the ground. Is how the dragon moves, is how the energy moves. So by looking at the mountains, that's dragons. And on the flat land, they are also dragons. So if you're higher, even if it's only 1 inch, that's considered dragon. If you're 1 inch lower, that would be the water. So it doesn't mean that there have to be mountains or hills, but there are dragons everywhere, even on the flat land. So celestial dragon is, of course, the dragons in the sky. They move in the sky. And dragons are also in the field. So that's one of the trigrams. And water, not that they're even more. The sea dragons, river dragons, and stream dragon, and the smallest one is the well dragon, inside the well. So in ancient times, they drink water by relying on wells, and there are also dragons inside the wells. So the difference, it's easy. The celestial dragons is in the sky and the earthly dragons are on the ground. That's it. Very simple. So the Dragon King treasure vase is primarily offered to the sea dragons. Can we offer it to the earthly dragon by burying it in the ground? Yes, there are treasure vases to be buried on the ground, in the ground. As a Feng Shui master, you can bury something. When you build a house, at the 4 key pillars, and you can bury a vase, and then you can put some dragon silver in it, which means the house will be protected. So the 4 corners of this Homa hall, right there. So when you're building it, you bury the vases, and inside it there's a dragon silver in it, which means there are earthly dragons protecting that building. So there's some Feng Shui method. That's the function of the earthly dragon. And a Feng Shui master sometimes would look at the key formula for looking for dragons. You climb up high up and look at how the dragons move. As a true master, you would know what is a true dragon, false dragon, life dragon, or dead dragon. So, if they twist and turn a lot, that's the life dragon. If it's very flat, that's just like a dumb pig. That's a dumb dragon, just like a dragon. If you're buried there, your children would be big and dumb. So they would be like a dumb pig. It's like a Dumbo. So if you're a master in feng shui, you always look for the live dragon with twists and turns all over. That would be. If it's just like a straight and dumb, that's like a dead one. Doesn't move anymore. That's a dead dragon. So you just check their how lively they are, the vitality. If it's kind of deadpan, that's definitely a dead dragon then. Then you need to recognize what is the real dragon and the fake dragon. And there are many dragons, and then you need to point out the real dragon and the one that's at the frontmost, and the rest are at the back. Then that would be the real dragon. Or if the rest are all in the front and there's only one at the back, then the one at the back is the real dragon. So you need to recognize all the different dragons that can only be discerned by a real feng shui master. But most ordinary feng shui masters would not be able to. So the Venerable Mang Liao Ming taught me all this, and now I have taught you that too. So that's about the earthly dragon. And celestial dragon is inconceivable, it's immeasurable, inconceivable. That the jade emperors belong to the dragon beings. So their true form are dragons. That's celestial dragons. So the devas of the 32 heavens, all the heavenly kings, all have the form of dragons. They are referred to as the celestial dragons. So their true forms are in the form of dragons. And the earthly dragons are under the ground. And the dragon king treasure vase can it be offered to the earthly dragon by burying it underground? I don't know. I have never heard of it. It's very good that you offer to sea dragons. You don't need to offer to the earthly dragon, because the earthly dragon is only talked about by feng shui masters, and also at the four corners of the building. So the dragon silver needs to be blessed, and it can protect the house. And the next question, there are 4 levels of Yoga Tantra. They are the Kriya Yoga, Upa Yoga, Yoga Tantra, and the highest Yoga Tantra. The yidams, or main meditational deities in the Kriya Yoga, are easy to visualize and practice. But why most of the yidams in the highest Yoga Tantra have many forms, with many arms and legs in various colors? For example, the image of Kala Chakra, whether it is the faces or the arms or legs, there are 4 different colors of blue, red, white, and yellow. What is the reason for these various colors? You're asking me? Like Kala Chakra is white arm, that's white body. The red arm is for the red body, and the blue body is for the Qi, to symbolize the Qi, right? So Kala Chakra image. The face of Kala Chakra, is it yellow? Yes, yellow at the back. It's blue too, right? Blue, red, and white. Primarily, the blue represents Qi, vital energy. Are you showing me the image of Kala Chakra? The yellow at the back. That's in dual body. So the yellow is for the consort. Kala Chakra has 4 faces, 3 necks, 6 shoulders, 12 arms, and 24 hands. His center face is blue, right face is red, the back face is yellow, the left face is white. And both the Buddha Father and Buddha Mother have 3 eyes. And the 4 faces represent the body, speech, mind, and the great bliss of emptiness, wisdom, and form. And the white left neck, the red right neck, and blue center neck represents the 3 channels inside the body. Left leg is white, right leg is blue, and wearing a tiger skin skirt with pearls and jewels and Vajrasattva in the top knot. He looks majestic. So these are all symbols. White means white body, red means red body, the blue is the energy, and the yellow is for the Buddha Mother. The color of the Buddha Mother. Just visualize it accordingly. So the symbolism is for the white body, red body, and Qi, which is blue. The Qi is blue. And it's here it's different. That white, red, and blue necks represent the 3 channels. The central channel, left and right channels. Left leg is white, right leg is blue. Adorned with Vajrasattva in his top knot and with a tiger skin skirt. And he's wearing jewels and looks magnificent. And the center face is blue, right face red, left face white, and back face yellow. So white represents purification, red is magnetization, yellow enrichment, and blue for subjugation. So they all mean different things. So we use all these different colors as symbols. Qi, channels, light drops, and also their work or actions or functions. what they can accomplish.
好，考你们一下哦。
Okay, let me test you.
国母是哪一尊？
Who is the Buddha mother of Kalachakra? Vaisana.
啊？青春女神，没有错了，青春女神可以这样子讲，因为国母都是很青春。
It's the youthful goddess. Yeah, because all Buddha mothers are all very youthful.
啊，像大威德的国母是什么？
Who's the Buddha mother of Yamantaka?
是妙音。
It's Saraswati. Every one of them have their own
对了，我
consort.
讲那个维摩诘经啊，
Visvamatir.
维摩诘经的时候，
So when I talk about Nirmalakirti Sutra, you need to prepare the book.
给它 copy 出来，然
You
后
need to copy it so that I can expound on it.
因为维摩诘经有7个版本，
There are 7
我们用的是
different versions of Vimalakirti Sutra, and we would like to use the one translated by Kumara Jiva.
在龟之国，
He was born at the Kucha country.
所翻译的，
Kumara Jiva translates it.
不要印错了，印成别的版本。
So don't mistake it and
7个版本，
print a different version, okay? I heard that there are 7 different versions, but we would like to use the one translated by Kumara Jiva.
妈妈问小明，小明什么东西会生蛋啊？
Mom asked
小明
me
讲老母鸡啊。
what thing can bear eggs.
小明讲说
The hen.
妈妈也会
That's
啊。
good. Who else? Mom too.
什么时候见过我生蛋？
Did I ever
小明讲，你上次不是
bear
说
some
我生蛋
eggs?
吗？
But you said that I'm a dumb egg, so I was born by mom, right?
笑话。妹妹对哥哥讲：“哥哥，我明天不
The
上幼稚园。
sister told the brother,
哥哥，
tomorrow I will not go to the
为
kindergarten.
什么啊？
And the brother asked why.
妹妹讲，老师叫我
And
们
the sister said,
说话，可是自己老说话。
because the teacher told us not to talk, but I keep talking.
妹妹讲，
Well, but the teacher keeps
那
talking,
我
right?
长大也要当老师的。
And the sister said, and I want to become a teacher when I grow up, and so I should start practicing now.
老师问小明，小
So
明，
the teacher asked
遇
me,
到老虎会怎么脱险呢？
if you encounter a tiger, how do you
问你为什么要叫他爸爸？
save yourself? I will call
你
him
不是
Dad,
说虎毒不食
Why?
子吗？
because even the ferocious tiger never eats his own
像
cubs.
他爸爸一样被吃掉。
Yeah, you'll be eaten up even when you call him Dad.
哥哥问妹妹，妹妹
The brother asked the younger sister,
用尿裤子，
I heard that you pee in your pants in the kindergarten. And the sister said, no, it's not me. Then who was that?
屁股自己尿的。
It's my butts.
所以我跟你讲，无我就这个道理。
That's the concept of no self.
你能够控制自己吗？
Can you control yourself?
控制自己怎么
You can't even control yourself.
做？
How can you have yourself?
没有人能够控制自己
There's no one that can control yourself.
生活。
Because if you can control yourself, then you have become a Buddha.
这个有3个问答啊。
3 question and answer.
友
Question.
情久了可以变成爱情，
A friendship after a while can become a romance, but how come a romance after a long time cannot become a friendship? The answer: the towel, after use for a long time, it will become a mop. But after using the mop for a long time, can it become a towel? Good answer. Question: why don't you like to go to the bank? The answer: it's like the eunuch not wanting to go to the whorehouse because you know you don't have it. Why do you want to insult yourself? Other than fragile things, what else do you place it softly? Is when you let go of your farts. Yeah, just play a fruits of Chinese. In Grandmaster's exposition of Vimalakirti Sutra, many scholars love Vimalakirti Sutra. There are lots of things inside it that are beyond people's imagination. Like the man becoming the woman and the woman becoming a man. It's already mentioned in the Vimalakirti Sutra. You know, the arhats don't look at a woman, they always look at the ground. So Vimalakirti transformed the arhat to become a woman. That's incredible. And the goddess who sprinkles flowers, Vimalakirti's wife is the goddess who sprinkles flowers. And Vimalakirti eats meat and drinks alcohol. So there's the saying, the meat and alcohol just pass through the intestines. But the Buddha stays inside the heart. And the meaning of Vimalakirti means immaculate name. So it's stainless, immaculate name. So Vimalakirti, that's Sanskrit and was transliterated into Chinese. And it means stainless and immaculate name. Ambassador, you want to speak? He needs a microphone, I cannot hear. Just now, Grandmaster said that Vimalakirti Sutra had 7 Chinese translations, and 3 are more famous. Kumara Jiva. It's the version that Grandmaster is using. And the monk Xuan Zhang also translated. and he translated into the taintless name. So it's the same. Yeah. So pure and immaculate name. So the sutra has many names. Vimalakirti Sutra is also called the Inconceivable Sutra of Liberation, or the Taintless. So the sutra spoken by the Taintless One. Although Vimalakirti had a wife, also drank alcohol, and he did things done generally by mundane beings, but he's stainless, completely immaculate. No contaminants. So, no impurities. So he views man and woman equally. So man can become a woman, woman can become a man, can change into each other. Because the arhats think that the women are filthy. In the Buddhist Sutra, it was mentioned that women have 5 leakage, and men are more precious, and women are less so. But he didn't think so. Man can become woman, woman can become man, back and forth. So his view was different. So everything is equal, one. So Sakyamuni Buddha believed that the man can be ordained to become monastic, but not the woman. The beginning, they were all men, no woman. And look at in Tibetan Buddhism, there are only male lamas. There are no female lamas. And lamas mean masters. And the monastics, they're all men. And when the woman renunciate to become a nun, they would wear white. As I remembered, I saw it in the Kanten monastery. They did not wear the lama outfit. They wore white robe. But at Buddha school, it's equal. So in the eyes of the Buddha and in the eyes of the Arhats, they don't look at women. So when the dragon girl attained Buddhahood, so in her attaining Buddhahood, she had to transform to become a male first before attaining Buddhahood. So they had this belief that only man can attain Buddhahood. So at that era, there is man and woman are not equal. But in the Vimalakirti Sutra, man and woman are equal. So the sutra is very special. That's why it's called the Inconceivable Sutra of Liberation. So you can do anything. However, you still need to maintain your purity while doing it. So that's the meaning of the sutra. You can do anything, but the question is, can you maintain your purity while doing it? And if you're not entangled by afflictions or by any thoughts and you're completely pure, then you have success in your spiritual cultivation. So there's no taboo that you have to avoid this or that or etc. No such thing. You can do anything. However, it's all pure. If you can do it, then you can do anything. If you can be like that, then you can do anything. If you cannot maintain your purity while doing many things, then you cannot do them. Very simple. If you go to the casino, then you're obsessed with gambling. You're addicted to gambling. Then you drown in it, then how can you be pure? So that's why we go to Las Vegas and we give you $10 or $50, and then after you spend your $50, you stop. So you still maintain your purity. So you just play the jackpots. It's like exercise, right? And $50 is gone. That's fine. And you still maintain your purity. But if you are drowned in it, then you are tainted. Then you should not do it. You should not go to the casino. That's all for today. Om Mani Padme Hum.